What is up, the world of the living? My name is LoyXP and welcome back to Truly Bedrock. Friends, it's been quite a while since my last Truly Bedrock episode, but I'll have you know it hasn't been long at all since I've been here on the server. Friends, I've been doing all sorts of stuff and I've been doing all sorts of builds, and that in part is why right now I'm greeting you from a creative copy, from a creative single player copy of the world. That's right, that's why the Vindicator in the background is not attacking me. I just decided that today's video we're gonna start here, where it's safe to experiment and see what we can build. Just, you know, what kind of blocks we can use and what kind of stuff are we gonna do. Mostly I wanted to try stuff out in Creative first today, because I will be building here in a more or less populated area of the server. In the community spawn town, in the chunk town, so as it were. And I am not necessarily confident in the build style that we'll be going for it. So all of today's builds are gonna be reinstated definitely on the actual survival server. But first I want to try them out in creative and also pick out an area for them in creative, because today, we'll be working on something very, very important. That something important is something I already teased in one of my previous videos, and that we already did last season, and that is the Job Tavern. If you don't remember, Job Tavern was in season 1 a way for players to leave tasks to other players and also rewards for those tasks. I know it's a little bit too late in the season to kind of try and implement that, but it's still a really nice idea to have a universal interface to get people to kind of like get other people to do stuff for them. That's what my experience with Slack, for example, taught me, is that Slack could use some of my builds in his base and I could use some of his diamonds in my pockets. Unfortunately, I decided to build in this area down here, on this very plot. And how do I put it? I'm not really the best of the art style that we chose. You see, this little yard here is a fairly modern looking, set of buildings. We got Liara's little bookstore, which is by the comment library, which I haven't filled in absolute forever. We have the mail post office, and we have the the court by Foxy No Tail, which today hearing is apparently Darkcraft vs. Lloyd, which has been today's hearing for the last several months. Basically, all we have to do is plop a building down there that is something between this art style and this build style, and we'll be golden. We'll have a fully functioning street, which other people can continue building up, and which we also could potentially even put like an actual street on, to walk and drive on, or something like that. I don't know, maybe this is just a dream, or maybe we're gonna absolutely butcher it, but I already have scouted out a few designs for what we're gonna do. So let me go do exactly that, and we'll get ourselves a little bit of a job town going, shall we? So this is the Job Tavern. Okay, this is more of a job coffee shop, but almost rhymes. Job coffee shop. Job bob 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 bob. No, but this is the Job Tavern for the season. Yeah, the banners actually are gray and black, not white like on the showcase, and also we have like little item frames and whatnot. It's a really nice place as far as I can tell. We got a little customer toilet over here. We got a little chairs painted in ghost head that you can actually sit on and all that kind of stuff. I'm quite happy of it. And if you actually want to put together some sort of a job assignment, you just make a shulker box, put it into one of these barrels, and people can pick up the shulker box and, you know, do the job and keep the reward that you also put into the shulker box. I will have to write those down somewhere, and I figure that these boards up here would be nice for instructions, just to explain people what they are supposed to do and all that kind of stuff, and written down exactly where the menu would be in one of those coffee shops. But like, really, look at this, look how cozy it is. I'm incredibly proud of this, for whatever reason. It's so chill and so nice, and I am very much enjoying it. And thanks to Liara's brilliance, instead of just calling it Job Tavern like I planned originally, we are calling it Job Bucks, you know, like Starbucks, but there's a job in it. This actually build is mildly inspired by Bob's Burgers, a burger place, where they also had a restaurant down here on the first floor, and on the second floor there was an apartment that they lived in. This place doesn't really have an apartment up here because I suck at interiors, which in part is specifically why I'm really proud of the interiors of the Job Tavern. No, up there, no one's gonna go up there, it don't matter. And look! It actually is kind of in the middle, artistically, between this building here, the courthouse, and the more modern-looking, more like San Franciscoan bookshop that Liara has created. I'm really proud of this, I'm really happy with it, I hope you're enjoying it too, and I think there's no beating around the bush. I don't know why there's nether particles over here. This area, as of late, started emitting nether particles, and so did the corruption over here. It's as if all of these like mushroom fungi blocks are now emitting some sort of a spores, making, you know, the environment a little bit worse for wear, and progressively making stuff turn more and more into nether around it. I don't know what this means, and I especially don't know what this means for the server. I don't know if that's happening only here at the spawn chunk town, or maybe it's also going on somewhere else, like where the beacon corruption is. But at the same time, we knew that the beacons were bad and we never stopped using them, so I guess this is to be expected. I just hope it doesn't affect the corruption spreading anywhere, because there's already another terrain being generated over here. I am very concerned, and so should be you. Also, what is that? Enhance! Beatstone socks. Why is that? I feel like we're operating on several levels of what the crappery going on, and they may or may not be interconnected. This is definitely Foxy's doing, like, I'm absolutely certain that this is... But what is this about? I cannot articulate how wild this server is, where on the same night, both this and this can happen. Anyhoozle, you might have noticed that there's a second building down here. Yeah, I got carried away and built another one of these. Roll the time lapse. Yeah, in case you were wondering, this is meant to be more of a barber shop down here, and once again several apartments up top. This area is kind of different because there's no actual, you know, No actual interiors yet. Once again, I've not installed any of this. Neither did I install this one spinny thing that all the barber shops have. I've been informed by my Twitch chat that the blue, red and white spinny things at the barber shops are actually part of the tradition that barber shops used to also all be surgical places where you could be seen by a surgeon. And that's kind of wild, and I don't know why there's a historical precedent for it. But the blue of the spinny thing on the barbershop is meant to represent the bandages, the red is meant to represent the blood, and the blue is meant to represent the veins, the blood and veins. And I don't know what to do with this information, and probably neither do you by this point, but I will have you know that this barbershop is meant to also be operating a meat store out of the basement. That's right, you know how I have like a little stairway up here onto the apartments? Well, we also have an opposite of that, and a little basement area down here. Someday I may or may not return here and do more stuff, but not today because I honestly am not that good at the interiors and also I have no ideas. And speaking of all the like random stairways, we have a little fire escape back here. Isn't that cool? For once, we're adhering to the OSHA compliance or whatever. Look, it's a functional fire escape in which all the fire that you make can escape. Luckily. Oh my god, speaking of escaping. So, those are the two buildings that I've built earlier for today's episode, and I'm quite proud of them. One is a really good recreation of a coffee shop in my opinion, and the other one is just a really nice apartment slash barbershop building. The two of them naturally do a lot to just establish this street as an actual street that people live in, and I'm hoping that some of my server mates are gonna pick up on the art style and continue it into this area and this area and that chunks, which is a little bit tall ask considering that Bruno has already installed this giant tree over here. I mean, I'm not judging, but I did flood it with cake. For no particular reason. He's currently trying to eat through it. There is, however, another place on this area in the spawn town that I really wanted to put my hands on. And this, honestly, just ended up outstretching my fingers and... stretching out my fingers and making me really itchy for some more structural building. And, yeah, if you don't know, we have another portal leading in here, and currently it's not even housed by a building at all. It's basically just another portal standing there in the middle of a flipping dock, not even a dock, just on a shoreline, and that's just not good. So I was willing to grab all my terracotta, all my brick, all my granite, and go try and design something for it. So now with all the knowledge of how to build coffee shops and barber shops and all that kind of shops, we're gonna go and try build some industrial dock building around the nether portal leading into the town. Let's see how it comes out. Something tells me it's gonna be flipping epic. Okay, there's no denying it now. I recorded the time-lapse in a creative copy of the world, and in that copy I forgot to turn the fire tick off, which is why for most of the time-lapse DB's house in the background is on fire. And that's why there's a kind of ranch looking building right there at the, at the entrance into community area. Yep. planned and executed this on a live stream, so twitch.tv/zloyxp if you haven't caught on yet. And I'm quite proud of this. This is a really nice looking building with quite a few clever things to it. Now, architecturally, this is actually not that impressive. It's a lot of plain walls and whatnot, but it's kind of a lot of the things that I tried on the tavern and on the barber shop coming to fruition, coming to roost. Like, look at the texturization all over the place, right? It's the thing that kind of makes it more palpable, more usable, more better looking. My absolute favorite thing about this entire building is this silly line from the very top to the very bottom, sectioning off this area out here away from a more kind of like flat looking this part right here. Like, nothing was stopping me from just making this entire building, like cutting off that section whatsoever. But then I had this idea that we can make the one side a little bit wider and kind of score a few originality points from it. And then when it comes to, you know, build the roof for it, I realized I can totally just make one of these rooftop gardens up here. And yeah, I'm yet to install the garden, mind you, but just the idea of having a balcony up here is really appealing to me. Admittedly, the back side of this wall is pretty plain, and also admittedly this doesn't necessarily fit the overall rustic medieval aesthetic that this area and DB's house in particular kinda evoke. But at the same time, on the opposite side of this building there's a cake, giant cake with Vindicator on top of it, and right next to it is this, I don't know, very deformed microphone that Zap built. And also Foxy's house and also Silence one, so I'm pretty sure we can get away with mildly industrial, mildly modern looking thing. Now what I'm really looking forward to is continuing this little road down here, deeper into the town, connecting it to this pavement over here or something or other. I feel like we could use just more of these aesthetics here and there, especially with what I did. And this is really minor, but I really care about it, so please hear me out. Especially with what I did with this little pier kinda material out here. Check this out. This there, right? Yeah, this little ladder, this little stairway on the opposite side, this little step, it just feels so fitting for the kind of like, it hints at an infrastructure that is not necessarily needed, especially not now, when we all have Elytra. But it hints at an infrastructure that would be there if this was a living and breathing town. So yeah, we might wanna do something or other about that. I don't necessarily know just yet, but we might. And I'm hoping that we will get a chance to continue it over the, you know, over the span of the shoreline here and there also. This is also the same more or less style, except brighter and more sunshiny, that I used way back when on my original nether base. So I'm quite happy with it coming back. I really feel for it and I'm really enjoying having it around here. Which is why I might have not explained as much creatively as I should have in this video, because all of this has already been kind of explained in my previous video, so just watch them. Actually, yeah, watch my entire channel. That will be really nice. So thank you everybody so much for watching. This has been zloyxp. This is gonna be it for today. To be continued. Have a good one. Bye bye.